Welcome back. In this case, serious allegations were made against Detective Constable Mark Thrippleton, and his hearing took place on the 17th and 18th of March, 2025. Let's break down the allegations, findings, and final outcome. DC Thrippleton was found in possession of a police baton at his home in April 2023, discovered during a police visit for unrelated matters. He admitted to keeping the baton for several years after an assignment involving the transportation of the Royal Stamp Collection. The baton was not returned to the police station after the assignment ended, and his possession of the baton at home violated both police regulations and relevant criminal law.
Well, a copper with a stolen item and an illegal weapon at that. This should involve a criminal case, as well as him getting kicked off the force. But let's see, because I have no confidence either happened, if I'm honest.
The key allegations are: 1. DC Thrippleton had the baton without proper authorization and failed to return it after his assignment. 2. His failure to follow orders and instructions. DC Thrippleton did not comply with the MPS officer safety policy, which requires officers to obtain written authorization for possessing such equipment off-duty. 3. Discreditable conduct. His actions of keeping police property at home, especially an offensive weapon, undermined public confidence in the police. Service. DC Thrippleton admitted to the facts, but denied that the breaches were serious enough to justify dismissal.
Of course he did. I mean, stealing and having an illegal weapon shouldn't stop you from being a copper, right? That was sarcasm in case you couldn't tell. But seriously, these people really do think they're above the rest of us, don't they?
The baton had been left in plain sight by the bed, and DC Thrippleton kept it for 8 years after his assignment ended.
8 years? That is insane.
The panel noted that DC Thrippleton lacked proper authorization to retain the baton. Even if he did have authorization, it was invalid due to his lack of required training. His actions brought discredit to the police service by retaining police property without justification, which could undermine public trust.
Hang on. Why was he given the baton if he wasn't trained to use it? Something doesn't add up here.
The misconduct was serious enough to warrant potential criminal charges, although the case was time-barred.
Of course it was. Another copper getting away without going in front of a judge. I'm shocked.
The panel also looked at aggravating and mitigating factors, and noted that the baton was retained for 8 years, and DC Thrippleton deliberately placed it in his bedroom. There was concern that the baton might have been used for personal safety. Inappropriately, as DC Thrippleton mentioned a potential threat from his wife during his interview. But it was also noted that DC Thrippleton made early admissions after his arrest, has a good service record of over 20 years, and presented character. References that spoke to his personal qualities and work ethic.
You just can't. I mean, for 8 of those 20 years, he was constantly breaking the law. Plus, for those outside the UK, it's illegal to carry anything for self-defense. Just to be clear, you can defend yourself, but it has to be proportionate. The law here looks at you carrying something to defend yourself preemptively as you causing the issue. For example, if I were getting mugged and picked up a random item from the street to defend myself, I'm good. But if I had that same item already on me, I'm in trouble. There's a grey area though. It's tough to prove you weren't carrying the item for legitimate reasons, but with a baton, that's going to be hard to justify. Same goes for in your home. I say all this because I wonder how many times this criminal has looked down on people and locked them up for crimes while he knowingly had that baton sitting on his nightstand.
The panel determined that the misconduct was serious enough to justify dismissal. DC Thrippleton's actions were deemed to present a risk of repeat offenses, given his lack of genuine insight into the severity of his actions. The panel decided that dismissal without notice was the only appropriate sanction, concluding that a final written warning would not be enough to address the seriousness of the misconduct. They also emphasized that retaining the baton was a serious breach that could have led to a criminal conviction. As a result, DC Thrippleton was dismissed without notice. So that was the case of DC Thrippleton. What do you think? Should crimes committed by serving police officers have no expiration time since they are in a position of power? Let us know in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. The police are given powers, and with those powers should come stricter punishments. But that's just my opinion. Let us know what you think below, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates, so you can stay informed, stay aware, and remember, accountability matters. See you soon.